Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to Collector Cave. Thank you for tuning in, watching this video. For those of you who are, so I wanted to do. I've done a couple of Mezco reviews now, so I would like to jump off and go for the. And forgive me for the camera doing this backwards, but the Marvel Legends Studios series 10-year edition Iron Man figure from Hasbro Toys. And I picked up this figure because it's Iron Man. I mean, it's just, you can see that. It's one of my favorite Iron Man figures, armors from the film series. And me personally, I love the Mark III the best. That is my favorite armor from the movies. But this one is my next favorite. I'm a sucker for the circle chest. The arc reactor being a circle to me is just most reminiscent of the original Iron Man from when I was younger, watching the cartoon and reading the comics and stuff. Just, I don't know. I always felt the round arc reactor was the best. So let's take a look. So basically, we have our Marvel Studios first 10 years. This is the third figure in the lineup, and you've got the collectible box, and we have the panel that adds to the sort of like the panoramic, picture, as if you will. The other side of the box has the synopsis of the movie from the Avengers. It gives you a summary, which is nice. That's kind of cool. I would say overall, I don't really give a crap about the box, to be honest with you. It's just going to take up space. Some of you guys are going to want to keep the box. Probably have a figure out of the box and a figure in the box. To each his own. Me personally, I'm tossing the box after this review. I haven't opened him yet, so I am eager to pull him out of the packaging, see what's going on with it. But just so you know, if you haven't seen any of my reviews before, I like to do a pass or fail. I don't really bother with number scales or anything like that. That's just me. I feel like to do the review, I just kind of do a pass or fail. Would I buy it? No, would I not recommend buying it? That's just me. That's how I like to do it. There are certain things that I look for, certain aspects of the articulation. I look at the paint applications, not always, because realistically, the way these things are made and so mass produced, you're going to have errors and stuff like that. So I'm willing to let go of some of those things. Some of you guys aren't, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes there's a run wide paint application error that you may find on a lot of different figures. That happens sometimes. So, I don't really pay much attention to those things, but I'll point it out if I see anything on it. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I look at the figure. I like to see how it moves. I like to see how it poses. That's my thing. Is I like to get the figures as natural of a pose as I can, based on, if it were more of a high-end figure, or something that has a lot of articulation that can really get a dynamic and natural pose. I kind of that's what I like to do. Is I like to pose things naturally and kind of give it a little flair of my own. So that's pretty much it. That's how I approach it. So hopefully that makes sense to you and you're okay with that. But let's crack this thing open. So far I I don't personally care about the box. It means nothing to me. So I can probably get rid of this box. Take up space. There is some, if you can kind of see, there's some photo panel work on the inside of the box there that is nice. It's okay. Price tag on this thing. I've heard and seen some posts lately that this is now on clearance at Target. If you find it on clearance at Target, go for it. If you have a coupon somewhere and you can pick it up, fine. Is it worth getting for the sake of the figure and for the sake of collecting an Iron Man figure? And if you are completing this series or this line of figures, definitely get it. So far, that's my opinion. So now let's take a look at what we got. For $25, I wish he would have come with a Tony Stark head. For $25, Hasbro. Come on, Hasbro. Come on, Hasbro. Come on. $25. Now, you know, we've seen these effects before. You know, that's cool. It's nice that it comes with that. It comes with the alternate hands. Okay, fine. But that to me would have really made it is to have the Tony Stark head come with that particular figure. Now I know there's another figure in the lineup coming up that's going to have Tony Stark as part of the set. There's a 2-pack. So I would say if you're going to get the 2-pack, you can pop the Tony Stark head on Iron Man, and if you're going to pose him as Iron Man, whatever, that's probably okay. And that's probably the intention. I just wish it would have come with one either way, you know, or even just have the mask be, you know, have Tony Stark underneath. And I don't believe it does. And you know, the funny thing is too, like there's a scene that almost gives the impression that the mask pops off and it does it? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That sucks. All right, so I see what they did there. I mean, I don't know why they would do that, but okay. So just to give you guys an idea, so for whatever reason, they have the golden faceplate on here, and it sits on top of a red mush of plastic with the 2 buggy eyes that are sticking into the mask so that it gives some depth. I don't think that's necessary. I don't know why they made that decision, but I personally don't believe that that is necessary. I think it's kind of a waste, but nobody's really going to notice that. I just happened to notice there's a seam here, so I was trying to pick it off, hoping and praying that Tony Stark's face would meet me when I open this up. Now, I'm going to pop off the one hand here and just put on the fist hand for a second. Let's see. It comes with the 2 repulsor / laser effects. Okay, that's fine. It gives you some flexibility, so you can put them on the feet or you can put them on the hands. That's all well and good. And I'm not going to hold that against Hasbro, which is, you know, it's cool. It's nothing amazing, but it's cool. As far as the stature of the figure goes, this is probably, in my opinion, one of the best Iron Man movie figures that they have made so far. He's got a really nice, you know, I guess the best way to describe it is the posture of the figure. You know, he's got a really nice sort of, you know, a nice posture, like, you know, a nice stature, I guess you could say. Physically, he seems, he's about the same as the Civil War version Iron Man, the latest one, not the Infinity War figure, the Civil War figure. He seems just about that size. And unfortunately, I don't have him with me to compare, but not bad, not bad. So let's see what we've got here. So basically now, one thing I do like is that Hasbro decided to go with a more rubber shoulder pad instead of the plastic that always pops off, and it's attached to the upper torso so that when you move the arms up and down, it kind of moves along with you. So just be careful when you're messing with it that you don't rip it. If you rip it off, it's done. It seems like it can take a beating, but not a lot. So just be gentle. Arms go up pretty straight, but it bends the shoulder blade. So just be careful of that. And it takes a minute for them to shrink back down, as you can see. The arms stretch out. The ball joints, typical of the Marvel Legends figures. You know, a good ball joint will give you a lot of range of motion. So I like that it's not restricted. I've seen on a lot of figures where you have a ball joint for the shoulders, but then the socket that it fits into on the torso restricts the motion of the ball joint for the arms. So it cuts into the shoulder. You could potentially stretch the seam on the torso. That happens sometimes. I've seen that in certain figures. So I'm not, I think they need to be more careful of that. This looks pretty good. There's no restriction here. It's a pretty open socket. If you can see that, there's not a lot of space to, not a lot of material to restrict the arm. So it's going to give you a pretty full circle motion here. Double jointed elbows. You have your wrist peg on the fists. Double jointed elbows, wrist peg. So you can get a pretty tight little pose there. Now the head takes some pushing to angle it all the way back, and then you tilt the torso back. He's got some decent ab crunch, and he slides back pretty far. He doesn't stretch forward as far. That's as far forward as he goes, which is a little disappointing. Head pops off really easily. Not really easily, but a little too easily. Head looks down about that much. And now one thing that I really like is, I like this little detail that they added, but they put the little flaps. They put the little wind shear flaps on there, that's pretty cool. That's a nice little touch. I like that. You know, that's a really nice little detail. They seem to be pretty solid. I haven't had them pop off yet, which is good. You know, you don't want to mess with it too much, but it's not bad. But the forward, you know, the ab crunch here is kind of disappointing. I think it limits the natural pose that you see him do in the movie, where, like, you know, you can only do so much with the flying poses. But that's pretty cool. I mean, that's your basic Iron Man right there. I mean, that's about as much. What else do you really need, you know? So not too bad. I would say, you know, he's got a decent range of motion. Now, the other hands he comes with are already angled up. The repulsor blast fists, the open palms rather. So if you're trying to pop it out of the packaging. Now, what's nice is that the flaps here are already tilted up. So if you can see that, there's not much movement here. There's just really the peg fits into the wrist. If you can see that, it's just a straight peg. There's no ball joint there. It's just a straight peg that fits in, and that's for repulsor blast posing. And so if you have a really cool display stand, you can get a nice pose if you prop him up. Only thing is, his arms don't come in and fold in as much as I would like them to. That's my only problem with that. See, he doesn't. That's as far in as he can go. I would wish he could do like a close pose like that, but it can't. It does have that restriction. So what you can do is you can sort of do like a sideways kind of pose like that, which is cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, now, if it's a natural pose and he's up in the air like that, body movement would indicate that when the left arm is up, the right leg is up. So that's how I get that figured out. And then we get the blasting effects that pop in here, and they fit pretty nicely. They're not popping out really. So that's kind of cool. So that's not a bad pose. You can angle it up a little more, get him facing down, a little more dramatic, get an angle like that. And a nice display base will accentuate the pose. I'm big on posing. So, like that. And then for the feet. So what's kind of cool is if you were to hold his arms down, you know, he's got his stabilizers, he uses his arms to stabilize himself. And then you've got the blast you can put into the feet for rocket boosters. And you've got your flying pose right there. Right, like that. That's pretty cool. Not bad. Soft material for the pelvis area here to allow for the legs. I'm going to take this off, as you can see. Gets you moving the legs up that much about. Now, it's all right. I wish it moved up a little further, but the material does restrict the movement to about that much. Behind you, that's about as far as these joints. I'm not even sure really what to call them, other than, I guess, a ball socket. More of a socket joint on the upper thigh. There's like a ball joint here. You know, the upper thigh is sort of a ball in there with a swivel on the upper thigh, and you've got a socket, Hasbro moved to the socket for this one. And, you know, that's about as far back as he goes. Double jointed knees for that, so not bad. Decent ankle pivot, forward and backward, not as good side to side, but you just have to play with it a little. You guys can see that. You just kind of have to just finesse it a bit. Try to get him to balance on one leg and then just rest on the other if you're going to do a dramatic pose like that. It's about it. Not great. It's okay. Now to swap out for fists. Now I will say that I'm going to attempt to do that, the iconic, airdrop pose, and I can honestly tell you it's not going to do that and look really good. So you can get it to do it a little, but not as much as it looks nice. That's about it, and it's not great. You really have to play with it to get it to do that much. And it doesn't look fluid. Like, it's not great. There's another Iron Man I think that can do it, but if you can see that, it's okay. The 12-inch Legends Iron Man figure is actually really good. If you guys like the 12-inch figures, the 12-inch figures are really nice. They're very posable. And the 12-inch figure, if you play with it just right, will give you a nice ground pound pose like this. But this is not nice looking. It's just very blocky and awkward looking. It just looks awkward. It's not natural. So, that's basically what it kind of looks like. It's all right. For some it might be okay. For me, I'm not thrilled. I don't think it works as nicely that way. You do get some okay, torso pivot side to side, so you can, get a little bit more play out of your poses. But all in all, I'd say it's a pretty decent Iron Man. All in all, with gripes aside, I do have my gripes about it. A couple of complaints. But as far as this figure goes, Hasbro did a great job. I think that this is the upper limit of what I would spend for $25 for a Marvel Legends figure, just because it's this particular Iron Man. I don't think it's a great price point for them to try to maintain. And the 2-packs are very expensive, and the figures they're okay. I would say the best 2-pack figure that I've come across are the Crossbones Captain America set. That's, it looks the nicest so far, except the Hulkbuster Hulk figures look really good. I haven't dropped the $70 that it would cost to buy it. I have a Hulkbuster Bath figure that I really love, so I don't really feel the need to go get the 2-pack. As far as the 2-pack for Captain America goes, I would recommend getting the Captain America Crossbones 2-pack. I think the Crossbones figure is nicely done, great articulation on that. And on the Captain America, it's the best likeness of Chris Evans that they've done in any of the figures. So if you really want that head portrait for a Captain America movie figure that you've got, it's worth picking up just for the head portrait, in my opinion. And you can get them at clearance at Target, I think right now. It's like $34.99. Check your GameStops. That's where I saw it. So that's pretty much it. But I'd say all in all, I give this figure a pass. And if you are a diehard Iron Man fan and you want to add to your Hall of Armor a really great Iron Man figure, that's a Marvel Legends figure, I would go with this bad boy right here. I think he's a great figure to add to your collection, and Hasbro did a nice job overall on it. If you want to ask me about some of the other Studio Series figures, definitely the Captain America 2-pack again. If you get your hands on the Hulkbuster 2-pack, that's also a nice one. Thor looks good. I don't know about the other female character. I forget the female character's name in the 2-pack. But if you want a good Thor, that seems like a really good Thor to pick up. The Infinity War, Doctor Strange, Thanos, and Iron Man set. Iron Man may look crappy, but the arc reactor lights up, which is kind of cool. So if you're thinking that might be something fun to get, give it a shot. I mean, it looks nice enough. I do not recommend Ronin. I think it sucks. It's a lousy figure. Likeness is okay, but the figure itself is very poor. Mediocre articulation. The shoulder pieces go flopping sideways, and it looks ridiculous when you turn his head. Not a great one. Not their best. I'd say it's 50-50 on the quality for the Studios line. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I highly recommend the Iron Man figure. I think it's a great figure to have for your collection. I would definitely go pick it up. So go for it. thank you guys for watching. Any comments, post them in the feed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep an eye out on my page, like it, subscribe to it, and I will be putting out some more stuff in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes peeled. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. Happy collecting, and I will be back.